Hey there, Spartans. I kind of wanted to re-release my video on the best mouse and keyboard settings to help improve your gameplay. When it came to mouse and keyboard Halo gameplay, I have over 1,000 hours in this game. But without just like completely re-releasing a video that I already made, maybe I could talk about some of the differences or some of the things that they've done in the recent update for mouse and keyboard. So without further ado, let's get right into those settings. Now, getting right into it, obviously for your movement and aiming, I don't use inverted settings, so I have these toggled off. I don't know if anybody actually plays like that, but that blows my mind. Hold the crouch. This is actually really important. If you're not familiar with what Gandhi hopping is, or the ability to be able to crouch while you're in the air, what it does is it picks up your Spartan's knees, so it will make your hitbox slightly smaller. In Halo 3, it used to actually manipulate the hitbox to slightly move up and down, so it could cause hit register issues or like basically cause people to miss their shots if they were aiming for the head. But that doesn't really work too well in Halo Infinite. That's kind of been replaced with the crouch strafe, so not super important. But why you still want to have this like checked off is for those skill jumps. So when it comes to crouch jumping and on things like that, that's pretty much the setting you're going to want to have. When it comes to crouch jumping and when it comes to skill jumps, crouch jumping, and things like that, this is the setting that you're going to want to have. Hold to zoom. This one's actually kind of a preference thing. In my 10 years of mouse and keyboard FPS, I prefer to have this on. The toggle zoom when you're getting descoped constantly in Halo is not a good feel, and I feel like you're gonna get more fucked up and not be able to track, aim, do whatever if you're constantly worrying about that descope effect. So I personally keep that on. Hold the sprint. I guess again this one's another like preference thing, but I'm gonna give you the reason why you probably should use it is because when it comes to those fine movements in between like close engagements, close quarters combat, you want to be able to control your sprint, and if you hit it and it starts auto running when you're just trying to do like a slight movement, it's like the little things, it could get you fucked up. Auto clamber, this one's huge. Turn auto clamber off. I used to lose gunfights in like the first couple weeks of this game because if you're near a ledge or near a staircase or anything and you're jumping around or you're in a gunfight, you're bobbing and weaving, if you jump up and it auto clambers while you're aiming at somebody, bam, you just lost one of your shots in a BR fight. You lost the fight. It's stuff like that that can really throw you off. So honestly, keep auto clamber off. It's super easy to hit A or hit spacebar or whatever you're using. Sorry, we're talking about a mouse and keyboard thing, and I just hit A. Sorry, there were, before this update, there was only like 20 mouse and keyboard players. Now I'm assuming there's like 120, so this video goes out to you guys. But hit spacebar, you know what I mean? You're gonna get that clamber. You don't need to have auto clamber on. It'll throw you off. And step jump, keep that one on. Scrolling down a little bit further past step jump, we're gonna have your movement assisted steering. Keep that one on. That one's huge for driving around in this game. And the same thing with hold to walk. Now I think this is one of the new settings. I don't have my player walk throttle scale set, but I think they're adding the sensitivity to like how much you can walk, and they also added the settings so you can now have a walk button if you want to bind that. I still have to go through the process of re-binding some of my keys because when it comes to like keybinds and layout, one of the things that isn't talked about, but I don't have much experience in testing this because the update just went live recently, is I had to rebind my mouse scroll wheel for switching weapons, which I'm so used to using in FPS. There's a bug, and there has been a bug for 11 months, so I re-keybind my weapon switch to a different button on my mouse or keyboard when I switch weapons, which I had to, whenever I go into a different game, it would throw me off, so I had to rebind how I played first-person shooters just because Halo is my main cup of tea. I'm not a huge fan of that, and now I have to reteach myself the past year of, switching weapons in a different way. I have to go back to like the way I used to do it for 9 fucking years, which I'm not opposed to. That's great. Hopefully it is actually fixed, but I'm telling you guys that because I don't actually have much experience with it, but I've been told that mouse scroll wheel has been fixed with this update, along with, aim assistant. Now mouse sensitivity, I run a rather low mouse sensitivity. I'll let you guys know my DPI is at about 800. That's where I like to stay, and a 2.2 with a 1-to-1 scale. So it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of low sensitivity, but when you have a mouse pad, I can't even talk. When you have a mouse pad as big as mine, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. So you're still gonna be able to do those 360s and have really amazing tracking and stuff like that. Especially in a game like Halo. I mean, you could go higher, but these are my settings. If you want to copy and paste, feel free. The zoom level is a 1.4x with the same 1 scale sensitivity. That's just how I roll. I do not use mouse acceleration. Yeah, use that at your own risk. I don't actually even recommend using acceleration when it comes to mouse gameplay. If you guys want my keybinds, I'm gonna quickly scroll through this, so feel free to pause the video at any point and snag these. I could talk forever about why I use these and why I don't, and some of these are subject to change, like I said, like my switching weapon. I'm gonna have to go back to scroll wheel and play around with some of those things, and then now I'll have an extra keybind freed up that I wasn't using before, so I might be able to switch some things up, maybe like AI scan and marking, whatever it may be within that. That makes sense. But yeah, that'll be fun. I can spend another hour in going through keybinds and maybe find like the best keybinds for mouse and keyboard. If you guys enjoy this video, definitely let me know. Maybe I can make a video on the keybinds finally, since that might be something people are interested in. Now, this will go without being said, but if you've made it this far in the video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out a ton. But the video settings are just as important as your mouse and keyboard settings. So if you're not running like things like 120 FOV or an advanced FOV, so you don't have tunnel vision, I mean, dude, you gotta get with the times, advance that shit. Something I've found that helps frame rate out, more frames win games, you know, nice little NVIDIA saying from back in the day. 120 minimum, 240 maximum. You can try unlimited uncapped, but I find that you get a higher frame rate setting. Again, this game's not very optimized, you know, so this is kind of the things you have to do to get good frame rates and things like that. I personally run my shit on low when it comes to, like, I do have a custom preset, but I would go on low and then do things like high anti-aliasing and then texture filtering on ultra, just so you have a really good looking game without any visual bugs or screen tearing or bullshit. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at with that. And then audio, there's some things that you can do for audio to make your game sound a little bit better. This is kind of the mix I've been running recently, but I've been told that dynamic range should be set to compress, so you hear those footsteps just a little bit better. But yeah, these are my settings. Appreciate you guys coming by. The last thing I really want to point out, this is huge, like absolutely huge. You can change the color. I know everybody already knows this. You can change the UI colors to something you're more used to. I am a classic fan of, like, you know, red versus blue. So friendlies are blue, enemies are red. Obviously, if you're colorblind to red or something like that, you can make it a much easier color to track. And then this is even bigger than all of that, though. Change the opacity to 1 and the outline thickness all the way up to 1. That means it's the most bold and the thickest it can be, so you can, you know, differentiate your enemies super easily. And, you know, again, you can have names if you want. I don't know if that's something you would really want in this game, but it's, you know, things like that. And then UI visual effects, turn all of that off. It's a FPS setting. If you want better frames, turn that crap off. And the last thing I really want to just point out is play with your weapon offsets. I'm gonna point to my last video in the comment section. If you want the weapon offsets, just refer to that. I go a little more in depth, and there's time marks in that video. So if you're interested in how weapon offsets work, go check that out.